Alright everyone, so before this video gets started, if you want to be a Lyft driver, go ahead and use my link in the description to sign up. You're going to get a huge sign-up bonus up to $500. Go ahead and use my link in the description. Alright everyone, so welcome back to the Rideshare Hub. My name is Dylan and thank you for joining me. So the title of this video is 20 mistakes that Lyft drivers make every day. Let's get started. So number one is that they take minors. So as a Lyft driver, you're actually not allowed to take anyone under the age of 18. A lot of times parents will order Lyfts for their kid and pick them up from school. So if you get a ride request from either from a school or somewhere and the kid looks under 18, all you have to do is ask them for an ID, and if they're 18 then great, but if they're not, just kindly say, hey, sorry about that, I can't take anyone under 18, and you get a $5 cancellation fee, but just make sure that they cancel. Number two is that a lot of drivers take kids without booster seats or without child seats if they're babies, and that's actually a huge violation, and that's even just a normal traffic law. So make sure, if they bring a kid and the parent says, oh, it's fine, I carry him all the time, just say, hey, sorry, I can't take him without a child seat or a booster seat, because that's just completely illegal, and you can get a ticket for that as well. And it's just much safer, so for the sake of the child. Okay, number three, and this is a big mistake that a lot of drivers are making, is that they take more passengers than actually fit in their car. So a lot of times when you're taking kids or people to parties, out to the bars, they're gonna want to try to sneak in an extra person in your car. And they will just say, oh, we'll just double buckle, but it's actually really illegal. And if you get a ticket for it, you will definitely get suspended from driving for Lyft. You can get a huge traffic law, and it's also not safe at all. So even if you get in a small accident, people can be injured seriously. So just go ahead and say, sorry, I can't do that, and maybe ask them to order a second Lyft for the extra people. Okay, so number four is that a lot of drivers don't have the correct airport placards and permits to go to the airport, and also that they're picking up people in the wrong area. So every single airport has a specific spot for rideshare drivers, for taxis, for buses, and a lot of them have specific spots for Uber and Lyft. So make sure when you're going to an airport, you check in with that specific airport on what their law is, and make sure you have a permit, because otherwise you can get huge tickets, sometimes up to like $1,000. So it's really not worth it. Make sure you have the correct permit. All right, and this is another big mistake that drivers are making, is that they chase surge. So a lot of times, it might say, oh, go to this area and you'll get an extra 200%, or you get 2x, 3x. But a lot of times, by the time you get there, that surge might be done. So you end up just racing around town, wasting gas, and you're not really getting paid anymore. Okay, so number six is that they start the trip before the passenger gets in the car. So every time you're starting a trip, you're picking up a passenger, make sure you don't start the trip until the passenger gets in. Let's say you're waiting for your passenger and you click start, and the passenger's not in yet. You're already starting to charge that person, and two, that person might not even come out. So just wait until they get in, and maybe you want to cancel that person because the person's like super mean, or they want to fit in a bunch of people in your car. So just make sure you don't click start until everyone's in the car and you're all good to go. Number seven, and this one is super important for me, is that a lot of drivers, they drive around looking for rides. And what this does is that not only does it waste gas, but it wastes your time. Because when you're driving around, let's say you start in point A and you're driving to point B, there might be a passenger requesting a ride from point A, so you're just driving away from that potential ride. So just stay where you are, and a ride request will come. Okay, number eight. This is a big mistake a lot of drivers are making, is that they don't track any of their miles, they don't save any of their receipts for gas, for car washes, oil changes, tires, etc. All those are tax write-offs. So there's a really cool app called Mile IQ, and it tracks all of your miles, and you can use this as a tax write-off, so you're not paying taxes on all the money that you're getting, since you are an independent contractor. You're not an employee, so you do have to pay taxes. So just make sure you save all your receipts and track all your miles. Number nine, and I hate this one, but a lot of drivers speed. Why do they speed? They think that, oh, maybe if I get to this passenger faster, I drop them off faster, I'll get paid more. But in reality, all you're doing is that you're putting yourself in danger and your passengers in danger. And the number one thing for me as a passenger is that I really like when my drivers drive slowly and safely and follow the rules of the law. So when they speed, I actually feel, pretty uncomfortable. I'm not going to tip them, and all around, I'm going to rate them much lower. As opposed to when they drive slower. And a lot of passengers really don't care how fast they get to their destination. They just want to be taken there safely and comfortably. That's why they choose, not for speed. Number 10, a lot of drivers, I've noticed, they talk on their cell phone a lot when passengers are in the car. Either they have a Bluetooth speaker, Bluetooth headset on, and they're just talking on the phone the whole time. And as a Lyft driver, as a rideshare driver, you're establishing a connection between your passenger. That's the reason why your passenger takes a rideshare car rather than a taxi. In a taxi you just get in, you don't talk to your driver at all. But when they take a Lyft, they kind of expect some sort of relationship. There's more of a relationship, more of a conversation going. And if you're just on the phone the whole time, sometimes I get into my, as a passenger, I get in and the driver's just on the phone the whole time, and it's okay, I don't need to talk to him, but that's an opportunity that he could have had to get an extra tip or to get a higher rating. So just keep that in mind. Okay, number 11 is that a lot of drivers don't take into account how much money is being spent on maintenance and depreciation on their car. So when you're driving, don't just take into consideration the gas that you're paying, but also keep in mind all the maintenance that you're gonna have to do on your car and all the depreciation you take on all the depreciation that comes driving your car, putting on so many miles. Your car's depreciating in value a lot just by doing that. So just keep that in mind and calculate all the costs and that way you know exactly how much you're making. Number 12, and this one's super important, and tons of drivers do this. I'd say most drivers do this, is that they let their passengers in the car without asking their name first. So there's a lot of times where a passenger might get in the car and they'll just be like, hi, I'm ready to go, and they might not even be your passenger. And you will run into this on occasion where we'll start driving and the passenger says, hey, this isn't where I'm going, and you realize you picked up the wrong passenger. So make sure you ask them what their name is. Don't say, if your passenger's name is Sarah, for example, don't say, hey, are you Sarah? You're supposed to ask, hey, what's your name? And then if she says Sarah, then you say, okay, let's start. So that's just a huge safety tip, and I recommend that to all the drivers. Number 13 is that a lot of drivers, they make illegal U-turns and they make illegal right turns or left turns, whatever it might be, is that they break traffic laws. And a lot of times, this happened to me the other day as a passenger, is that one of the other passengers in the car, since it was a shared ride, is that one of the passengers said, oh hey, can you go that way? And the driver literally just took a U-turn, crossed a double yellow line in order to do that. And I was like, hey, I don't really feel safe when he's breaking the law. And there was actually a car that he almost hit because he did that. So just make sure you say, okay, yeah, I can do that, but let me just do it in a safe way, maybe at the next stoplight or whatever. All right, number 14, and this applies to most jobs, but especially being a rideshare driver, is that they eat out. So when you eat out a lot, when you're eating out at work, you're taking breaks and you're spending money on food, keep in mind how much money you're spending, in compared to how much money you're earning. So say you're driving for 4 hours and then you go and buy an $8 lunch. So really that $8 lunch is, calculated into $2 less per hour that you made. So just keep that in mind. Say you're making $20 an hour for 4 hours, and then you go buy some food that's $8. Now you're only making $18 an hour. So just keep that in mind of how much money you're spending on food, and try to eat a meal before you go out, and then another meal when you get back home. All right, number 15, and I see a lot of drivers making this mistake, is that they take passengers through the drive-thru. And I don't know when this started or why this is happening so much, or why passengers have this expectation, but when you're sitting in the drive-thru, sometimes for 30 to 40 minutes, if you're at In-N-Out or like a super popular crowded fast food restaurant, your passengers say, oh, I'll leave you a nice tip. Sure, the passenger might tip you, $5 or so, but 30 to 40 minutes sitting, that's like tons of money. That's like $30 you could have made just driving around other passengers and even getting other tips as well. So just keep that in mind, and also keep in mind you're hardly getting any money for just sitting. You know, these rideshare companies don't pay you very much just for sitting. You know, I think it's like 20 cents a minute. Number 16, a lot of drivers, they play music really loud. And I don't know about you, but when I'm in somebody's car, I don't want to hear, you know, some super loud music. Maybe if your passenger requests the song, but when you get in, I don't know, as a passenger, I've had a lot of drivers just play music super loud, and I don't even like the music. And you know, one time I even asked my driver, hey, can you turn the music down? And she turned down like 2 notches, and it was still super loud. And so, I don't know, I just keep in mind that your passengers don't really like that super loud music. All right, number 17. A lot of drivers drive with their windows down. So when your passengers are requesting a ride and getting in your car, they don't want wind blowing in their face. And maybe for you, you think, oh, you know, I just want to get some fresh air. But keep in mind, you know, this is a service you're providing your passengers. So just roll your windows up, turn on the AC, and your passengers will be much more happy. All right, number 18. A lot of drivers don't talk to their passengers. They just let their passenger get in and they drive them right to their destination. So a great tip to, you know, improve your customer service is to simply ask your passengers a couple of questions. Ask them, how's their day going? Or what are they up to today? And, you know, don't worry about it being too personal. Your passenger can simply say, oh, not much, you know, or they might give you like a dull answer. But that passenger might really like that, and maybe they're having a bad day, so you can be that person to, you know, spark a conversation. You might be the first person that passengers talk to all day. Just keep that in mind. It helps with tips, it helps with better ratings. Number 19 is that a lot of drivers aren't getting enough sleep. They drive all day, sometimes even to like 3, 4 a.m. and then they wake up and they start it again at like 6 or 7 in the morning. So I just want to tell you guys that get enough sleep. It's for your safety, it's for your health, and your passengers will notice it as well. You know, if you're really sleepy driving, your passengers will probably either give you a 1-star, they won't tip you, and in general, they won't have a good experience. All right, and number 20, the last one. You ready, guys? Listen up. Put your ear right up to the computer for this one, or, you know, stick your headphone in a little bit deeper. This one is super important. I'm gonna even put my phone away for this one so I can use more hand motions. So number 20 is that a lot of drivers don't take enough breaks. And I think it's really important that, you know, as a rideshare driver, you're sitting behind the car for multiple hours at a time. Take a couple breaks, you know, every hour or two. Get out, stretch your legs, you know, have some snacks in the trunk. Get out, you know, have a drink, you know, no alcohol, but have a Gatorade or something. Just walk around for a little bit. It'll make your day much better, and you'll feel much more, you know, alive while you're driving. And this also goes hand in hand with just eating healthy, being smart, you know, getting enough rest, all that together. But just, you know, go ahead and take some breaks for yourself, and this will help improve your driving experience for your passengers as well as for yourself. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Once again, if you want to sign up to be a Lyft driver and get a huge sign-on bonus of up to $500, go ahead and use my link in the description. Once again, my name is Dylan. This is the Rideshare Hub. We'll see you guys next time. Bye.